I can't tell you how many times I've heard this. Dave, we're buying a $400,000 house, putting 5% down, so we need $20,000, right? Not necessarily. In fact, I've seen buyers need less than that, and I've also seen buyers need double or even triple that. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate your cash to close, the 4 numbers that matter, and I'm going to give you my free cash to close estimator worksheet so you can figure this out for yourself in your own situation. Let's get into it. Now, the reason cash to close confuses people is that everyone tends to just focus on that down payment number. But again, that's only one piece of the puzzle. Let's say you're buying a $500,000 home. Most people immediately think 5% down equals $25,000. Done, easy. But that's not really how it works. Your actual cash to close is made up of multiple moving pieces. Some of those pieces will increase the amount you need to bring to closing, and some will decrease the amount you need. And if you don't understand how they all work together, you're basically just guessing. So here's the real formula for cash to close. Cash to close equals your down payment plus your closing costs plus your prepaid items minus credits. That's it. Pretty simple. Now, these 4 buckets determine everything about the cost to buy a home. So the first bucket is your down payment. This is usually the easiest part. On a $500,000 home, 3% down equals $15,000, 5% down equals $25,000, 10% down equals $50,000, 20% down equals $100,000, and so on. Pretty simple. Now, the second bucket is your closing costs. These are things like title fees, escrow fees, lender fees, your appraisal, credit report, recording fees. Now, in Arizona, a rough estimate is often somewhere between 2% and 4% of the loan amount, depending on the situation. That's the total amount you'll spend on these closing costs. This is where many buyers get surprised. And then the third bucket is your prepaid items. These are items you're paying in advance. These are things like your homeowner's insurance, property taxes, initial escrow account setup, prepaid interest. This money isn't really a fee, it's money you're paying in advance. It's being collected up front, but you're gonna pay it anyway. And now the fourth bucket is where things can get really interesting. These are credits that can reduce the amount of cash you need. These can include things like seller concessions, builder incentives, lender credits, earnest money deposits, down payment assistance, and gift funds. I've had buyers bring dramatically less money to closing because of credits. If you only remember one thing from this video, remember this. Cash to close is not your down payment. Let me say that again. Cash to close is not the same as your down payment. It's your down payment plus closing costs plus prepaids minus credits. I've had buyers put 5% down and bring less than expected to the closing table. I've also had buyers put 5% down and bring thousands more than they expected. The difference is everything else in the equation other than that down payment. Let's walk through a real example. Purchase price of $500,000. 5% down payment is $25,000. Estimated closing costs, $8,000 on top of that. Prepaid items, $4,000. So our total so far is $37,000. Now let's say the seller agrees to contribute $10,000 towards closing costs. So now we drop the cost back down to $27,000. And let's say you already provided $5,000 in earnest money. Now we're down to $22,000. So even though the original math looked like it might be $37,000, your actual cash to close ends up around $22,000. That's why every transaction is different. Most online calculators only estimate 1 or 2 pieces of the puzzle. They usually don't know seller concessions, builder incentives, your specific loan program, local taxes, insurance costs, earnest money deposits, or lender credits, or a handful of other items. So they can be directionally helpful, but they're rarely accurate enough to make a buying decision, which is why I built my cash to close estimator. Lets you plug in things like your purchase price, your down payment percentage, your estimated closing costs, and you can really refine those any seller concessions, your earnest money, and then you can see in real time estimates on what you're actually going to need to bring to the closing table. So if you'd like a copy, you can actually download that tool using the link in the comments below. It's completely free, so you can just download it, plug your own numbers in, and see what your cost would be. And if you're in Arizona or anywhere else that I'm licensed, which you can see on my website, I'd be happy to hop on a call and walk through it with you. If this video saved you from making a bad assumption about how much money you need to buy a house, please hit the like button and subscribe so you can get more helpful information. And if you want that cash to close estimator, grab it from the link below. I'm Dave, the mortgage guy, and I'll see you guys next time.